The Volkswagen Jetta has been updated for 2025, and it is not what we expected. We will explain.
But first, here's how much the Jetta costs.
One of the areas that's been updated for 2025 is the dash. You've got this 3-bar design, kind of stylish.
I think the doors are doing a lot of the work with this pinstripe material.
As long as we're talking about the doors, I'm going to take a moment to gush about bottle storage, which is not an exciting subject unless you've got a bottle, in which case it's like, hey, look, the bottle fits in there, no problem. It's close to the front hinge point, so it doesn't splash around too much when you close it.
I'm glad that these are so generously sized because the cup holders here are small and very oddly shaped.
It's kind of oblong, so mine keeps going back and forth with a clicking noise.
Oh.
On the other side of the drive selector, we've got a dedicated phone zone with a wireless phone charger, 2 adjacent USB-C ports. There's also a USB-C port in the center console, which I am weirdly enthusiastic about. The inside is white because it's a dark space, and if you have something dark, it's hard to find it. Having a white backdrop makes it really easy to find stuff. One other weird bit, it just sort of opens up. Why isn't there a latch? As it turns out, you don't need a latch. And that's a pretty good amount of space. We're driving the SEL trim, which is the fanciest rendition of Jetta. That means we've got actual leather seats, ventilated front seats up here, which leads us to these capacitive controls.
I find them simple to operate, but only if I'm looking at them. The temperature controls, because they're capacitive sliders, it makes it very easy to quickly raise or lower the temperature, but you also can tap if you want to adjust the temperature more precisely.
Yeah, I'm oftentimes not a fan of capacitive controls, but these I found pretty easy to use, though they would be even easier to use if they just had a couple of little nodules so you could feel without having to look. Oh, here's one nodule, it's the cool side, here's 2 nodules, it's the hot side.
While there are some very nice materials in here, there's also plenty of scratchy plastic and shiny black plastic. Not one of my favorite materials because it really shows fingerprints and dust.
Moving to the seats, I really like them. I'm getting the lateral support I need. I'm not feeling a bunch of pressure points. And in the version that we've got a power adjustable seat on the driver's side, sorry sweetie, and I have adjustable lumbar support, so my lower back is feeling well supported.
Great!
I also have memory function over here, and I like where it's positioned and it's easy to operate. Kiddo, how do you find climbing in and out of the Volkswagen Jetta?
Climbing in and out is easy, but sometimes the belt is hard to buckle.
Yeah, I noticed that at school pickup. Oh, and I'm going to mention a difficulty I have getting in and out. The steering column comes down very low. For my preferred driving position, I keep whacking my knees on it.
Even with my stumpy little legs, I also had that issue, but I think it's because I keep the seat so close to the pedals.
Are they stumpy or stubby? Because stumpy's a totally different thing. In which case, I don't think you'd have any interaction problems. Behind my ideal front seat position, there's an incredible amount of space for a compact sedan. And I find the rear seat static reclined to be quite pleasing. Kiddo, how do you find that middle position?
The foot area isn't great, and unless I put my feet on either side of the hump.
Yeah, if you have little legs that struggle to touch down, that center hump area is kind of an awkward place to put your feet. Meanwhile, from my perspective, that middle position works just fine. One slight criticism of the back seats, there's no rear vents. Come on, Volkswagen, give my daughter air. Well, now we get to see how old our audience is and if they've seen Arnold Schwarzenegger's Total Recall. After the seats, we've got a cargo area that is 14.1 cubic feet big, and that is a meaningless number until I tell you it's 1 cubic foot more than you'd find in a Toyota Corolla sedan, and only slightly smaller than you'd find in the Honda Civic. So a very competitive amount of space. We have a spare tire, which is great. And then if you need more space, it does a 60-40 split fold. You got releases back there.
I had to come around to the side to push them down after releasing them from the cargo area.
But as a stumpy person, you're used to having to make those accommodations.
Yes.
One note of caution, if you are really loading up that cargo area and you have things right up to the edges, those are gooseneck hinges, which means they do come down into the cargo area. Mind your eggs. Sweetie, what about the latch situation?
There are lower anchors on the 2 outboard seats. They are very easy to snap the booster in. And I believe there would be room for a rear-facing car seat back there.
As for safety, the IIHS hasn't rated the 2025 Volkswagen Jetta just yet, but the NHTSA has rated it a 5-star overall vehicle. Meanwhile, we have a complete suite of active driver assist technology, including full-speed adaptive cruise control and 6 airbags. Family, what do we think? Is the Volkswagen Jetta family-friendly?
Small family-friendly.
Rear window test. Oh, that's not all the way down at all. Boop. Armrest test drive. I get a comfortable 8 and 4. My elbows do indeed reach both the inboard and outboard armrest, and that's a pretty solid squish factor. Stitching on the edge, but not too abrasive. Same thing on the outside here, although it's a little bit harder on that very edge part. 85% inboard, 70% outboard. Moving onward to style. For 2025, front and rear fascias have both been updated. Those are newly standard LED headlights. We also have LED taillights, and then on most trims, there are these light bars front and rear.
I think the light bars look super stylish, and I really appreciate the crisp lines on the hood and along the side.
When I looked at this thing, I was like, hey, speed lines. It looks like if a 9-year-old girl were to draw a picture of a car and try to make it look fast.
Huh?
You know, speed lines. One aspect I didn't realize about the Volkswagen Jetta is that it is a remarkably efficient shape, a 0.26 drag coefficient, which I think would have some benefits for fuel economy. How do you feel about the Jetta text on the back? Is it like kerned correctly?
It looks proper.
Okay, good.
I got really excited to see the paint though. It has so much sparkle to it, and it's one of those colors that looks different depending on the amount of sunlight that hits it. It's really pretty.
It's called Monterey Blue Pearl. It's one of the new paints for 2025. It does not cost extra, and I really thought it would. To me, the Volkswagen Jetta shape is not the most audacious among compact cars, but I think it's handsome. What do you think though? Do you like the Jetta? Do you dislike it? Tell us in the comments. Also, thank you. This is our first family video shoot with 0 GoPros involved, and that was made possible by people who support us as members of our channel. All DJI. Notice nothing is overheating or anything. It's amazing. Thank you. Moving onward to In Motion. If you look under the back of the Jetta we're driving, you're going to find a torsion beam rear suspension, which is not the most sophisticated way to suspend a vehicle. You might think, it doesn't ride very well. No, it rides great. Okay, we're managing the bumps pretty well. It's like, and also the body settles down. It's not like it's floaty or moving around too much. And then I got to the mountain. One of my great joys is driving something like an innocuous little compact car and passing much more capable, theoretically faster cars. And this 100% does that. I was sort of shocked at how well this thing corners. It actually embodied a lot of what I appreciate from the German marques that not the money, but like the manufacturers. Stable at speed, but also agile and confident in corners. And the Jetta really embodies that. And this isn't even the quickest one. There is a GLI if you have a real sports bend to your driving preferences. And also, I kind of like the steering. It's not the most sporty feel necessarily, but it's very predictable. It's only like 2.1 turns lock to lock, and that's achieved with a variable steering ratio. Not to get too nerdy, but when I was looking in the press materials, I'm like, they're describing the steering ratio exactly the opposite. They talked about quick turn in, and it's like, no, that's not how it works. It's fairly slow on center, and then the more you turn, the faster it gets, which is perfect because you want high speed stability when you're just moving a little bit. And then when you get into corners, I'm gonna make a right turn here, and watch. Light turn in, and then the more I turn, the faster it turns. You can just leave your hands in that 9 and 3 position, and then look, I'm getting all the turn I need. I did not expect to feel this enthusiastic about driving the Jetta. Going one step further, when I looked at the press materials, I'm like, 158 horsepower. And then you floor it, and wait a second, this thing pulls pretty well. Horsepower is competitive, a little bit more than like a base level Honda Civic, but torque is strong. At no point did I think this is an anemic vehicle. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission. When we come home to our community on the mountain, it's a long drive up a long hill, and that really puts transmissions to the test. Are they in the right gear at the right time? And I found the Jetta did the right things. Down here we have a drive mode selector. This only comes on the SEL trim, so lower trim, sorry, you do not get to change your mode. All right, that's what I think about driving the Volkswagen Jetta. What does Sweetie think? Evie's at the wheel, and while she's driving, I'm going to don the sunglasses from today's sponsor, Flying Eyes Sunglasses. Oh, they're so bendy. Sweetie, do you feel like you've got a commanding position? Can you get the seat in a place that gives you control?
Yes, I can reach all the controls I need.
Whatever haste you're comfortable with, apply it that direction. Little tire chirp there.
I felt very confident getting ahead of traffic.
And what about steering? Does it feel predictable, perhaps even fun?
Yes. I had to test it, you see. I felt more relaxed driving this than I normally do, which for me is a version of fun. I felt very reassured by the steering. There was plenty of power. I actually liked driving this car and was not nervous like I normally am.
For Sweetie, not nervous is a version of fun, and we embrace that. What about visibility?
Visibility is good all around. The pillars are rather narrow. I can see over my left shoulder.
And even if visibility was much worse, blind spot warning comes standard on the Jetta. Before we wrap up here, I'll quickly note that flying eye sunglasses are made for pilots. They're bendable and durable, made out of a patented material called Braziliamide. So they're ideal for pilots. They fit under a headset or helmet, but also those exact traits make them perfect for driving or living your normal life. Those are Flying Eyes eyewear that Sweetie is using to see where we're going right now. If you'd like to support our channel and you're in the market for eyewear, sunglasses, or eyeglasses, click the link in the description below to save 10% on Flying Eyes using the promo code Micah. One last question, Sweetie. If we were in the market for a compact car, are there any game killers that would prevent you from buying and driving a Volkswagen Jetta?
Absolutely no game killers here.
Ooh, she said absolutely. That's pretty strong praise. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Moving on to remarks. Infotainment, we got an 8-inch screen. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto smartphone connectivity comes standard, and then on higher trims, it's wireless.
Seated in the passenger seat, it's really obvious that it's oriented toward the driver, but I can still easily use it.
I'm sorry you're a second-class citizen in the Jetta, Sweetie Pie.
The menus are laid out in a way that's simple to find my way around. I wish the icons were different colors. It gets a little bit difficult to choose selections out of the corner of my eye because it all looks so similar.
You got capacitive controls for submenus on the side. Again, a nodule, like a little bump, would be helpful in distinguishing one from another. It could benefit from a somewhat slicker looking interface. This does feel like a little, I don't know, pick a decade before this one. Moving over here, there's a standard 8-inch digital gauge cluster, and then on the highest SEL trim, which we're testing, a 10.25-inch unit. There's plenty of options for customizing the information you need, and I'm getting what I need to know. Oh, look, I'm doing 29 miles an hour. Cool. One more technology feature that I think is worth noting is emergency assist. This is a capacitive steering wheel, so it can tell if it's being touched. If you aren't making inputs and it detects that, oh wait, no, this person might be incapacitated, the Jetta can bring itself to a complete stop and turn the hazards on. I don't plan on being incapacitated during this drive, but it's good to know that there's, some backup. Going back to what we talked about in the beginning of the video, and also if you looked at the title of this video, this is not what we expected from the Jetta. Let me explain. I haven't thought about the Volkswagen Jetta in a very long time. It just straight fell off my radar. I'm like, oh yeah, the Volkswagen Jetta. I was fully expecting a middling experience. As it has turned out, it's comfy, it's roomy, it's kind of fun to drive, and it's also competitively priced with a very strong level of safety tech built in. That's not saying it's perfect, but way better than expected. And now let's take a look under the hood in a test inspired by my buddy Brian. Here's how you open the hood on a Volkswagen Jetta. I have never seen a more spindly and bendy prop rod for a hood. I guess that's what it's supposed to do. But if you want to check the oil level, you can do it right here. Here's where you add the oil, and then over there, that's where you add the washer fluid. And if you're curious what the Volkswagen Jetta sounds like, there's the horn. All right, let's talk engine choices. The Jetta is powered by a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine paired with an 8-speed automatic transmission that carries over from the previous model year. That engine is only offered with front-wheel drive, and regular fuel is fine. There's also a Jetta GLI available with a more powerful 2-liter turbocharged engine. You can get a 6-speed manual transmission standard or a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission.
Sweetie.
Uh-huh.
Please share our trim recommendation.
I shall, and because I took German in high school, I'm going to do it in German. Fluent German. I'm just kidding, I can't speak German. Our trim recommendation is which trim will give you the essential features you would regret not getting, but at the lowest possible price. The base Jetta S trim is mostly well equipped with automatic climate control, automatic headlights, and rain-sensing wipers, plus a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty. But my beloved Smart Key access isn't offered until 2 levels up at the SE trim, so we get that one. It's a $3,000 jump versus the base trim, but moving to the SE also adds a power driver's seat with adjustable lumbar support, leatherette seating, heated front seats, wireless smartphone integration, and other nifty features. If you're in the market for a Volkswagen Jetta of your very own, click the Kelley Blue Book pricing link in the description below to learn what your current car is worth for trade-in and what you should spend on a Volkswagen Jetta. As for competitors, we got big names like the Honda Civic, the Toyota Corolla, Hyundai Elantra, and Mazda 3. Did we miss any remarks? If so, tell us in the comment section. And now it's our daughter's time to shine, child. Can you tell us what is your favorite feature in the Volkswagen Jetta?
Seat heaters.
We got rear seat heaters because we're in the fanciest SEL trim, and we are in the cold season up here on the mountain. You can be toasty warm even though you're sitting in the back seat.
Don't you mean rear seat heaters?
Wait, what did I say?
I believe she's talking about which part of the body it heats instead of the location in the car.
Yes, humor, famously best when explained in detail. Family, I think we've done a good job reviewing the Volkswagen Jetta. May I have a 5? And a 5. That was a really strong 5. And you, come get your 5 and please be gentle. Bam! And now please enjoy our AI-generated synopsis song for the Volkswagen Jetta.
Der Jetta ist zurück, hört die Motoren brummen. War vergessen, doch jetzt schlägt alle. Oha, flitzen durch die Nacht, die Straßen sind sein Revier. Wow, Kraft uns die vereint, dieser Wagen imponiert. Der VW Jetta, er fährt wie ein Traum.